let's jump right in. Jeepers Creepers Reborn. So this is the fourth in the series. We are going to review, and there's going to be some spoilers in this video. So if anyone hasn't seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this. So this is directed by, and I hope I get his name right, Timo Vuorensola, and he's Finnish, so he's from Finland. This is his first American film, though. So this is his first foray into American film, and then also into, scary. This is
first ever?
First ever, yeah. This was his first American film. And side note, fun fact about this guy, he's 6'6". He's a monster of a man. I just want to put that out there.
Did he play the creeper?
I at first I thought he did, but no. Okay, so Sydney Craven is Lane. She's our main female character. Imran Adams is Chase. He's the boyfriend, so they're boyfriend and girlfriend. The creeper in this movie is actually played by a guy named Jero Benjamin, and I guess he's like, what do you call the people that live in down south, like in Mardi Gras, Four Quarters?
Cajun?
Yeah, he's like Cajun, I think, something like that.
Like French. It's like French.
There you go.
Something or another. French Cajun. That's cool.
Most of the actors in the movie were actually like British, English, Cajun, French. So he kind of pulled from a lot of things there. So that's kind of the intro. I'm going to have Mallory do synopsis for us. Like, tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so first off, I gotta say, in synopsizing this movie...
Is that a word?
It is now. Okay. Is this a movie? Let's ask that question, because it had nothing. It honestly, if you've ever seen Jeepers Creepers 1, 2, 3, this really did not follow the same like storyline, the same like characteristics of those movies at all. And I was just like, what? I felt like I was watching a completely different movie that was just happened to be called Jeepers Creepers. But I mean, it had the creeper in it. It was basically about these kids that were in Louisiana for like this horror Comic-Con type fest where people go and they dress up and like they do like, games and they have awards and stuff. The main boy and girl characters, they're going to go and like celebrate. The boy loves the creeper. He's just like obsessed with the story. The girl's kind of like, it's like dumb and nerdy, whatever. Of course, there's like weirdos in the back, in the foreground, in the background that are like, I guess up to no good. There's like these characters that are like a part of some cult where they're trying to like worship the creeper. And they're the ones putting on this Comic-Con type thing. The main girl is pregnant. So of course these characters are like, hey, we're going to take her, I guess. And they set it up to where she wins this contest.
It was so confusing.
I know, right? Like they didn't really explain what this cult was, what the end game was. It looked like they wanted to steal her baby, but they never really said what for.
Yeah.
They win this contest so that they can go to the creeper's house and like do this escape room. But of course, it's all a setup so that they can steal the girl's baby, I guess, even though she was probably like 6 weeks pregnant. I don't know how they're going to steal it, but whatever.
So she literally finds out she's pregnant.
Like the day before.
Like the night they got there.
Yeah. Like literally.
Which I was like, what?
I know. So, I mean, I don't know if they were just like, maybe they were like fattening the calf for when she finally gives birth, and that's what it was. I have no idea because they didn't explain it. They just showed all these like flashbacks of nothing.
Which is like, if anybody asked me about the movie, I would just say, you're not going to understand any of the storyline. They explain nothing. There's like characters that died that we didn't even know their names. Like,
literally, I didn't know any of the characters' names until I started looking up the IMDb. And I was like, oh, that was what the main character's name was.
So in your mind, tell me how you thought this is different from the other three.
Well, okay. So, I mean, the movie goes on and they of course get chased just like the other three. They get chased by the creeper and he's trying to capture her. And of course, he's mowing down everybody else in his path. And then it ends with them eventually killing the creeper. And then a bunch of crows eat him. And then the girl seems possessed and fade to black.
Yeah. That's literally the entire movie in 10 seconds, by the way.
Really, seriously, like you've watched the whole movie just watching this video. So what do I think is similar to of the other ones?
Yeah, like, did you find anything?
No, the only thing similar was the title, Jeepers Creepers. That's it.
So for anybody who hasn't seen the series, the very first one with Justin Long, you and I loved it. Okay. Creature, the creeper is a creature. He's like, comes out, what is it, every 23 years?
Yeah, like we don't really know what he is. We don't really know if he's like a demon or something. He's just something that's always been, and he always will be because of how he operates.
And he feeds. And this is how we love the first one, because he basically stalks these kids that are like on this highway, and he just wants to eat them, which he does. And he puts their carcasses up like in his lair, and it's just really good movie, and you don't see it coming. And then they started making more, and we were like,
I mean, I was down with the first and second one. The third one was very cheesy and everything. But I still watched it, and I was like, okay, whatever. But only because they kept the same story going. They didn't try to change things like they did with the fourth one.
True.
Honestly, the only thing,
like, the timelines work.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one, and you're like,
where am I?
What happened?
Like, okay, so the only thing I even enjoyed about this movie was the fact that Dee Wallace is in it for like 10 minutes. The older couple at the beginning, there is the lady and the man. The lady is Dee Wallace, and she is like the grandmother of all campy horror movies. She was like in Cujo. She was in The Howling. You see her face and you're like, yeah, this is going to be a cheesy ass, but awesome movie. I'm going to get scared, So when I saw her, I was like, oh crap, this is going to be great. And then she died, and then it was crap.
And literally, she's in the movie for 8 minutes. She's dead. Her husband's dead. It's like you blew
your load too fast.
Thank you. Okay. This is what I kept saying the whole time I was watching the movie. I was like, I have no connection to any character. I don't care about any of them dying. Like we were supposed to care more about the creeper in this one, or like at one point they showed the creeper like shirtless, and he had like a 6-pack. He looked like a dude. And I was like, what are we supposed to be attracted to this? What is happening?
Yeah.
What is happening? Okay.
That was my main point. So like you were saying, what did you enjoy about this movie, or what was similar to the other movies? And I'm going to make my point right here. Okay. I need you to look at these. So the creeper, like we were saying, he's supposed to be like sort of an otherworldly type dude, right? Like he's not of this world. He eats people, and he ingests their features, or like their hands or their legs or whatever, like to every time he gets hurt, if he gets an eye poked out, like, it'll change to that person's eyes that he ate to replace his eyes. So look at the first creeper. Okay. This is creeper number 1. This is from the first movie. He looks human-ish, but not really. Like he's monstrous. He looks,
and this is only
like not
really
superhuman
after he's kind of regenerated a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember? Like
when he's
kind
really
of
broken down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if he takes his hat off, he's crazy. Okay. So here's Creeper 1. Now here is Creeper 2 for number 2.
You're so professional.
So that's him with his hat off. He's still very like monstrous, just very like the teeth, or that's not human teeth, The only thing human about him right here looks like his eyes. Here's number 3. Let me see. Hang on. Sorry. I'm really bad at the computer.
Me too.
Oh, shoot. You can't even see him. Okay, forget it. He looks like number 2, pretty much, just in better light.
Yeah. And then number 4, and I'm so glad you brought it up, because I have something to say about the way he looks. Let's
see if he comes up. Okay, number 4. Yeah. He has like the face folds-ish, but he's very human-like. He kind of looks like Freddy Krueger.
Ah, you took my line.
Oh, see, like seriously, that's what he looks like, right? Very like gaunt and like just like burnt. He looks like he's burnt.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
I specifically said to myself, this guy looks so much like Freddy Krueger with the
yeah,
crooked hat and the long nails and stuff. And I was like,
yeah,
this doesn't even feel original anymore. Now I feel like I'm watching a completely different movie.
yeah.
Case in point, though, I wrote in my notes, it did feel at times like a cheesy 1980s film like Freddy Krueger. And I thought to myself, I wonder if that's what the director was going for. Like throwback to that. I mean, Freddy Krueger movies are cheesy, Mallory. Like cheesy.
For sure, but at the same time, they're scary. This was not scary at all.
Yeah,
At
that's true.
all.
At all. Like I was literally watching it and I was like, there's no jump scares. There's no creepy scares. The monster himself was not scary. It was almost comical.
Yeah, you were like, I am not scared of you. I can blow you over with one hard sneeze.
Yeah, so if anybody's watching or listening, neither of us really liked this movie at all. It was not
No,
worth the
no.
$4.99 that I spent to rent this for
Oh,
$4.99. I want my
I
money
told
back.
you. Yeah, I told you, you just wasted $5
Okay, okay.
and 2 hours of your life.
I will try to make something out of nothing here and just hear me out. With series that have come out like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, they revamped like the Goosebumps. They've done kind of a good job, like on Netflix maybe, of kind of rebooting these kind of scary but mostly corny like horror ideas.
Yeah, those are the
That's
ones that they revamped were like family friendly, and now the new
yes.
ones are kind of more like adult. Well, not adult, but adult themed.
Yes. Okay, so like for reference, I would almost let my 10-year-old watch this fourth one because it didn't feel overwhelmingly adult. It was corny. Yes, like some of the deaths, like the death scenes, some of the impalement and stuff was really bad. But I felt like it could have been a series wherein things happen a little bit fast, but you keep developing the characters and stuff like that. But it gave such corny cliche vibes, but then the storyline never did anything.
It never went anywhere, and they had so many storylines. Like the girl was pregnant, and they wanted her baby, and then like he was being worshipped by this cult. Like we never got to we never were told like where this cult came from. We were never told why they wanted the baby. We were never told like how this happened, because in all the other three movies, he didn't become reborn. He just went to sleep for how.
And he doesn't stalk people. He doesn't choose people. He just is an opportunist. So if you drove by and he was feeding, he ate you. In this movie, he was like choosing people and he chose her and was like looking for her but not eating other people. And I was like, that's not the creeper. That's not
Yeah,
what
no,
the
because
creeper does.
he would have totally ate other people if they smelt like what he wanted. He would have still
Right.
probably went after her, but if they had something, he would have totally ate them, and all he did was kill them.
Yeah,
Like, he
it was
doesn't do
weird.
that.
And then when he did get Lane, who was the main character who's pregnant, he just stabbed her. And
Like
then
barely.
like barely top layer wound and then
Yeah.
left her like a sacrifice. And I was like, this feels like a creepy cult stalker movie and not about the creeper, which that's the reason I watched the Jeepers Creepers films, is to see the creature. Like I want to, he's a real creature. He's not human. I think the director and the writers just tried to humanize this creature and it didn't make sense. Like
It really didn't. It
Yeah,
didn't, because
I did not
maybe
get it.
if they would have expanded on, yeah, maybe if they would have expanded on why he was being worshipped, or what they were trying to do with the sacrifice thing, they didn't even
know.
explain it. And then at the very end, when she turns to look out the cop car window after they've been saved and stuff, and her eyes turn all black, and you're like, okay, is she possessed? And then it's like credits. And you're like, okay, there had been no mention of him possessing anybody in any of the movies.
Nope.
He doesn't possess people.
No.
You know?
No, and that's
So,
what I'm saying. Like the
Crows?
whole.
Like, what were the crows?
Oh, I wrote that down. Okay, listen, I have notes. I wrote this down because I went, where in the hell are the crows coming from? And why all of a sudden do they want to eat everybody?
Yeah.
And why are they eating him? And then right at the end, they show like a snapshot of his face. Like the crows are eating him and he like puts his face up. And I was like, When did this become his story? Because the story is the creeper, but the story is also the people that survive him.
Yeah,
Like in one of the movies, he goes after a school bus of kids.
that's
So
number
you're-
2.
Number 2, okay. So you're invested in like, oh my gosh, how are they going to get away? And what are they going to do? In this one, there was no investment. There was no investment, no payoff. If any of the people died, I didn't care.
Mm-mm. I hope they all died. Horrible.
I wanted Lane to die really bad. And then, time out. Don't forget this part. He blew a whistle at one point. What in the heck is the whistle for?
Okay, so this is what I found out. This is what I found out about that, okay? So you'll notice that when he was chasing the older couple in the very beginning of the movie, we never heard the truck horn honk. Remember that honk it was to do? It was like, "Arr, arr," when he would chase them. That was at the very first one, second one, and third one. Okay, so I know, and I didn't realize it till I started looking up, like, what the heck is the whistle?
I think I imagined that it happened because that's what we're waiting for.
It didn't. It was just like the truck was revving. Yeah. So I was like, oh, when I found out about that, it was because the guy that literally made that horn sound didn't allow them to use that horn sound in this 4th movie.
What?
Yeah. So they couldn't use it.
He literally was like, this movie is so bad, you're not using my horn sound.
I don't know, but like he didn't allow it. It was his license property. Yeah. So that's why we didn't hear it. And then he did like the whole whistle, which is like reminds me of when my dad used to call us in from the yard when we were little kids, and he'd be like, calling us.
So out of pocket. I rewound it because I was like, wait, did I miss? Who blew the whistle? And I was like, no, Creeper blew the whistle.
And it sounded like a tea kettle.
Yeah. It was
even faded out like a tea kettle being taken out.
It was like one of those long metal piped whistles.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, isn't that what you call your dogs with?
Yeah, exactly. And so I thought to myself, you know what we never saw in this movie either was the creeper scream. Remember how he does that thing where he opens up his face and he goes, ah! He never did that in this movie. So I think they weren't allowed to use that yell because this is the only movie where the creeper wasn't played by the original actor who played the creeper.
Yes, because it's played by a different guy. I told you it's played by that guy, that French guy or whatever. Okay, here's another interesting thing I found too. So this is you can Google this, but Victor Salva, who wrote Jeepers Creepers, he wrote, and I quote, "Every 23 years for every 23 days, it gets to eat." He wrote that rule. This is what it says. He wrote that rule in Jeepers Creepers 2001. So there would be no sequel unless the movie was set in the future. But Victor Salva doesn't seem, or it doesn't appear that he's even involved in this particular movie. Even if his name is on it, his like presence in the writing and in the movie is nowhere because none of this made sense. And the other movies made sense. He's a creature. He lives in, also this movie is set in a real town. The other movies, they're set in fake towns. Like, this is the only one that's in a real city.
Yeah, this one's set in, like, Louisiana, and the other ones were in, like, Kansas or Nebraska.
But they're fake cities.
Yeah.
If you look it up. So, it was really strange, and it felt like you said, that maybe they didn't really have the go-ahead from everyone to do another one. But he wanted to do it anyway, and so he got permission from someone somewhere to use the name Jeepers Creepers, but maybe that's why it's Jeepers Creepers Reborn and not Jeepers Creepers 4.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. I was like, he just wanted to make this movie and he didn't care how he did it. And he really should have cared how he did it because he should have just not even made it without keeping it, cohesive to the other ones because he really just crapped out.
Even if you have to write around the idea to give you the illusion, like you could have spent some more time kind of just writing around it. Like, okay, we get it. You didn't have permission, but we still enjoyed the film. I didn't enjoy any of the film. None. And I can always find one thing that I was like, oh, this part was good. None. The acting, first of all, was horrible. I would have loved if it was actually high school kids versus grown-ups, because the acting was like middle schoolers. Like
Was
if
juvenile.
this was,
Yeah.
this is why I said it made me think of Sabrina or like Goosebumps. Because you know, middle schoolers and those kinds of kids, when they act, they overact. They don't know how to
Right.
act well. And I was like, if this was middle schoolers, I would actually believe it.
Yeah.
So I wrote, not scary, not inventive. I think he was hoping the actors would bring it to life. And it just didn't. Like, even if the lines were decent, the actors couldn't do it. And then I got confused about why they were stuck in the house. Why were they stuck in the house?
Well,
At the
they got
very
locked in by the cult people, but
Yeah, but then
I
it was
would have
open.
busted out a window somehow.
They literally, he was busting through doors every 5 seconds. They couldn't bust out
Yeah.
a window.
I know, it was just boarded up.
And they weren't even there to stop them from leaving. So the townsfolk who were in on it didn't even stick around. They just
They
left.
didn't. They could have busted out a window and ran away. Like, I didn't. It was down.
Okay. I know. So listen, I was entertained by one thing and one thing only. And that was, it was so bad. It's like watching a car wreck, and I had to watch all the way to the end. And I caught myself kind of laughing at the end, because I was like, you know, if you don't take it too seriously, it's entertaining for being so bad.
If you didn't take it too seriously and you didn't watch the other three and you didn't like the other three, then you could have tolerated this movie. I think the only thing that I found not even redeeming, but nice about this movie was the throwbacks that they did to the first one. Like the missing eyes. There was a court, or her friend at the very beginning, that like the very first guy to die.
Yeah.
When you see him
I think his name was Sam. He was
or
the one
Sam. There you
taking
go.
a piss or something.
Yes, there you go. When they find him hanging upside down, his eyes are missing. Like Derry's eyes were missing at the end of the show. Right.
R.I.P. Derry.
I know.
Derry.
They also did, when she had like the rip in her dress where he cut her, the hole in her dress was right by her belly button, just like Derry's t-shirt. Okay. That was very obvious there.
I noticed that part.
Right. I know. And so I notice these things because, like I tell you, I watched 1 and 2 like at least once a year, because I just love it so much.
Oh my gosh. Also, him trying to play the music. Okay. In the first movie, if you've ever not seen it, they play the song Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get those peepers? And that's really pivotal, because it shows Derry's face and it shows the eyes gone. Okay, so it's like this really messed up way of saying like he can't see anymore. In the end,
and it's such a sweet song.
I know. And I will forever associate it with Jeepers Creepers now.
Oh, I can't even listen to it anymore. Yeah.
So in the house, in the end, all of a sudden he has a record player and he's trying to play, I don't even remember the song, but it's from the same era. And I was like, this is not good.
It didn't sound like a song. That was my thing too. I was like, what did I say about it? I said the Jeepers song wasn't scary at all. It didn't sound like a real song. It sounded like a song somebody made up to remind us of the first movie, but they didn't know how to write a song. So, you know what it reminded me of is there's this thing on like TikTok, right? There's this video of like these people who are doing a musical, and she's like, I don't want to do anything today.
Oh, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
The way she's singing is very like, and I know it's supposed to be with the movie, but it's like very stilted, where there's no like rhythm to it, where she's like, and I don't want to do anything.
I don't want to do anything.
Yeah. So I just, it felt like that. Like there was no rhythm to this song. There was no, it was weird. It was
no
weird.
connection whatsoever. Yeah. I literally give it half a star. If we were doing 1 to 10, it got half a star, and that's only because somebody made this. So I always give A for effort. But I think I know, right? I think that director, it just didn't translate, and I was thinking to myself, so he's Finnish. Maybe it was lost in translation, like what he was trying to do. And I've never seen a Finnish movie that I know of, or or anything like that, but it was so jilted is the right word. It was just like, here's a piece, here's a piece, here's a piece. Nothing's connecting them. People are dying. Now she's the creeper. Like, that's what it felt like.
I didn't even know if she was a creeper or not.
Well,
now she's possessed. Now her eyes hurt. I know. She might be. Who knows?
So that's my take on it. That's my review. I'm done.
Oh, I give it. Okay, here's the thing is I will give it a half a star too, but not A for effort. I'll give it half a star because from what I found out about this movie was it was made during, the high tide of COVID. So it was very hard for them to get this movie done because of restrictions, because of money. They had to film in England or London or something like that. So they had to use only British actors, mostly British actors. So they had to do a lot of like, I don't know if you ever noticed when the kids were getting very like intense, their accents came out hard.
Oh no, I heard them. I heard her. Yeah. So Sydney, the girl that plays the main character, I knew right away she was British. So that's
her. Yeah.
I looked up I was like, all of these people none of these are Americans.
Yeah, none of them, had the American accent down completely.
Yeah.
So I think that like really worked against them, which if he would have just made them be English, that's fine. Like they're English people in Louisiana. What's wrong with that?
And you could have really parlayed that into like, these are tourists. These are people that are visiting. We didn't know where they came from. We didn't know why they were there. We didn't know what they were going to do.
We might have felt more sorry for them had they been visitors because poor things, they just wanted to come and have some fun.
Yep.
And now they're screwed. But
any good director makes us fall in love with the characters, good or bad.
Right.
They make us relate and fall in love and have a connection with every character so that when they die or when something happens, we feel emotionally invested. I felt nothing. I felt less than nothing.
Yeah. I felt glad they were gone. So there was that. There was, I don't mind the British accents. It was just that. It was like a struggle. It really took you out of the movie, hearing their accents go back and forth. Also, the CGI was horrible.
I forgot about that. I wrote that in my notes. Oh, man. There was one point where there was the creeper and then CGI was behind him. And I was like, my webcam looks better than what they CGI into the movie.
It was so bad. And I think that has a lot to do with probably the money that they had to make this movie. So I feel bad for the guy because I could see his intent behind the special effects, but they just did not hit. You just were really taken out of it again because you're like, wow, this is like horrible. This is horrible looking.
Yeah.
The only thing.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say the only thing that even did it for me was Dee Wallace. I love her.
Right.
I love her and everything she does, and
she's such a throwback to so many of our childhood memories.
Yeah.
And childhood. Yeah. Here's the last thing I will say before we end. If you are gonna watch any of the movies, just watch the first 3. And just imagine that this one wasn't made. It's not connected anyway. There's no storyline that really connects it. So you're not missing anything or losing anything.
No.
But I do like the first 3, and I think the first 3 stuck to the overall intent and idea of the creeper. So that's what I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, the third one's kind of, but it can still hang with the first 2.
Yeah. Even the third one is
with
1,000 times better than.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God. I even had to go back because when he was like, you remember how he came out at first and he was like a little boy creeper? He crawled out of the barn or whatever and he was little. I had to go back to the third one at the end because I was like, did I forget that he was supposed to be reborn? Like, because I'm thinking they're carrying on the story. No, the third one did not end like that at all. So it just don't watch it. Just don't watch it.
Don't watch it. They got 1 star. They got 1 star between
the 2 of us.